Interrupt my colleague, but the procedural issue I am raising, we have colleagues one by one raising issues of soldiers who are returning from Somalia. We have 10 UPDF officers, 5 of them are here. We are talking about matters of their colleagues who they came to represent, they are quiet. What are they doing here? 5 of them, they came here to represent the army. It is other people talking about the problems of their colleagues. That's the procedural issue I am.
As Right Honourable Speaker, before we broke off for this recess in April, I did raise 2 issues regarding police officers who have not been receiving their salaries, some for close to 6 months. And I was surprised, Right Honourable Speaker, to even find police officers within this parliament approaching me to give evidence that they were also victims of that. The Minister of Public Service, the Minister of Internal Affairs brought a statement which was incomplete, and Public Service pledged to bring a more detailed statement confirming action they have taken. That aside, Right Honourable Speaker, as we await the Minister of Public Service to respond to the issue of police officers, people who are armed not receiving their salaries, there was also another issue of the lawyers in the police force, Right Honourable Speaker, whose salaries, Right Honourable Speaker, was reduced from what they were earning before. And these police officers took action trying to engage government following the President's directive in 2010 to enhance police lawyers' salaries just like other lawyers within the government. And these lawyers went to court. There was a judgment by Justice Sekana, which I did present on the floor, Right Honourable Speaker, where the judge did state that it was irregular, it was unconstitutional for anybody's salary to be reduced. Right Honourable Speaker, since that judgment, there has been no action taken from the government side. And when I presented this, the Attorney General did indicate that we could not proceed to discuss that matter because there was an appeal. Right Honourable Speaker, as we speak today, I did state that there was a notice which was placed. However, no memorandum of appeal was ever filed. And Right Honourable Speaker, I want to present here evidence that this case was actually closed and there is no appeal. But Right Honourable Speaker...
Let's start one by one. You say the police officers have not been paid.
Yes. Right Honourable Speaker...
And how much is involved?
Right Honourable Speaker, when I presented this case, I was approached as I was traveling to Tororo over the Easter period. I stopped over in Ginger.
Now let's not go into a fishing expedition.
No, Right Honourable Speaker.
Listen, Sarah. When you are approached as a good legislator, we expect you to go and find out how much money are the police officers demanding, who are these police officers, for you to come up with a very good statement to the floor. Because if we are going to go on to a fishing expedition and just get any information in the street, then we will not be legislating well. Let's have, so that if we are budgeting, so that we are able to know that how much money is expected, 300 billion. So that we say this money must go to the police. Because these people are very important to us. We need to know the people who have not paid the money. As far as I know, salaries always take first call. Honourable Minister, is that correct? Wages take first call.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. I share the same opinion which you have. the issue could be something else. Otherwise, if it is wage takes first call, and we expect all our civil servants across government to have been paid by 28th of the month. I suggest that we link up with internal affairs to find out where the exact problem is.
We need to get all the information so that we know what we are discussing about.
Thank you, Honourable Minister, for giving way. The matter of missing salaries, I think there are teachers that have missed.
Aisha, that is a very serious problem. We cannot live with the armed forces who are not paid. But we are saying, let's have all the details. Let's have all the details. So that we task finance to have these people paid. Whether it is nurses, teachers, doctors, whoever, let's have a comprehensive statement or report on this, which is both quantitative and qualitative. You need to have figures when you're making any report.
Honourable Speaker, I think...
Sarah, you'll come on the issue of the judgment. Let's first sort out.
Thank you, Speaker. And maybe have an inquiry. Sarah was approached, even as officers approach us, as a concerned entity. Can we put up an inquiry instead of putting it to Sarah to go now look for her informers? It's a very important matter. Can we institute an inquiry and see whether police officers will appear or not? But indeed, they are there that have been missing.
Let me tell
salaries.
you, if you called for a meeting with the police officers, they will not come. They will fear. Let's get information the way we are supposed to get the information, other than just because we will talk here and they will not help them. So let's get all the information the way the information was got before. Yes, no, I want AG first to respond. Is it on this one?
When we have such challenges, the ideal thing would be to get to our district accounting officers to get the exact problem. Because if I have teachers in my constituency and they are claiming they have not been paid, the first person to ask is the accounting officer. Exactly. And he has put it in writing. Then I bring the petition or a letter here or to the ministry so that I table with evidence. But when we say we put an inquiry, where do we start from? I think we have an obligation as MPs to make sure that these issues that touch wage, for example, when we have wage shortfalls, we ask them to write so that we have evidence and we approach finance so that we can table these issues.
Thank you. Workers?
The person who has been recorded, and I'm sure that he also...
Which paper is that?
Monitor. Of today, I buy newspapers.
And you believe it?
Yes, and he says, one of them, that he spent 8 years without salary, and the salary is equivalent to 42 million that he has not received. Let us not take this...
Honorable
lightly.
Minister, I think you need to take that up. Honorable Prime Minister, you need to take that up and find out who are those for 8 years and find out the real cost.
Thank you.
The real cost, and not only police officers. We have the teachers, we have the doctors, we have the nurses. The issue of the court ruling, Honorable Attorney General.
Honorable Speaker, what I can do is I can just write to your office and show you that we appealed. Because I did say that I appealed. Now she's telling me that the appeal is not there. But I'm the one who appealed. So what you can do is I can write to you this afternoon and show you that we filed the appeal.
Thank you.
Right. Just to inform you that the Minister of Internal Affairs presented a report regarding the salaries of the missing police officers and even gave us statistics. But he mixed it with other, people who had absconded. And the Minister of Public Service acknowledged that there was actually a problem. They were transiting from one system to another, and in the process, some people have gotten their records, off the system, distorted. So that is partially the reason. And the Minister of Public Service had indicated that they had started correcting, and she was supposed to bring a statement. But, Right Honourable Speaker, on the issue of the police officers, the lawyers within the police force, Right Honourable Speaker, when there is a judgment, and the judgment issued against our own actions, it baffles me, Right Honourable Speaker, because there was another case of salaries, of the downgrading of salaries of employees sometime back within the Ministry of Health. And when they appealed the decision of downgrading their salaries, this letter was written by the Attorney General. And it is the basis on which the police officers picked the Attorney General's letter dated the 3rd August 2023 and went to court. And if I may quote from the Attorney General, my good friend Kiriowa Kiwanuka, this is what he said in this letter. He was quoting the Constitution, where any salary or allowance of the holder of any office is charged on the consolidated fund, it shall not be altered to his or her disadvantage after he or she has been appointed to that office. And he went on to advise that it would also amount to a breach by the employer of their terms of employment, and accordingly we reiterate our guidance as follows: that there is already a contract, the accounting officers cannot change the terms of employment of officers. Right Honourable Speaker, I am raising this because these police officers are actually stuck. Some of them got loans against the enhanced salaries, and now they are earning almost nothing because the entire money is going into clearing the loans. I want to lay on table, Right Honourable Speaker, this is a court document in the system referring to this case.
The photocopied document is what you want to lay on table?
This is...
Bring the original and you lay it on table, not the photocopies.
Okay, allow me hand it to the Attorney General. It clearly indicates, Right Honourable Speaker, that the case was closed. There is no case actually in court. But the issue here, Right Honourable Speaker, there is a court judgment. So letters cannot work in this case. And these are police officers who are lawyers, whom the President gave an executive order that all lawyers across the board should have their salaries enhanced at the same level because the police was losing lawyers to other entities of the government. So, Right Honourable Speaker, I think the government should resolve this matter.
You have the executive order.
Right Honourable Speaker, I presented the court judgment.
Now I'm saying there was executive order on increment of salaries for...
Right Honourable Speaker, unless I now pick all these documents and lay them. You give me time to bring them and lay them at an appropriate time.
Bring
Thank
all
you.
of them at a go.
I'm at pains, and I think that is where some of our jobs become very difficult. There is a situation where a police officer is not earning the salary that he thinks he should earn. There is a position that I think it is not correct. Now, I have made the choice to appeal the decision. Now, a member whom I've explained to the legal position, I've appealed the position, doesn't want me to appeal. Now, tomorrow, when these things happen again, they will say the Attorney General. Now, this document that you're referring to, Honorable Member, is the document in the High Court. We don't appeal High Court decisions in the High Court. We appeal High Court decisions in the Court of Appeal. So when you go to the High Court to check whether this case is there, because it was concluded by the judge, It does not appear in the schedule of the matters in the High Court. So if you want to find out whether we appealed, you go to the Court of Appeal and find out whether there is an appeal there. However, colleagues, if the salary is supposed to be increased, and I'm not saying the salary of police officers should not be increased. What I'm asking for, colleagues, let's do it properly. And that's what we said the last time. We left the administrative aspect to the Ministry of Public Service to do that properly. However, if we leave this precedent on the record, colleagues, it will not be good for government. So let public service handle the administrative aspect of dealing with the salaries of police officers, which they are doing. And let us handle the issue of the legal aspect. I'm just requesting that you allow us to do our work. Thank you.
We need to harmonize the salary. Lob has a clarification. We
Thank
need to
you, Right
harmonize them,
Honourable.
including for members of parliament. Lob has something.
Thank you, Right. Thank you,
The young Lob.
my leader. Right Honourable Speaker, as we talk about the issue of policemen, we also have an issue of police armed officers who returned from Somalia. Since December, they have never received their salary, so we should also include them. That's
Yes.
what I want to say.
We'll
Thank you.
look at all of them. Let's look at all of them. Public service should actually look at all the institutions.
Mr. Speaker, I think we need to help these government workers called police officers because they don't even know where to run. I understand when the Attorney General says public service should be handling matters to do with salary. The challenge is there was an enhancement which they began to receive. Along the way, it is cut off. And so they are in confusion. They did go to court. The Attorney General says he has appealed, and there's been a bit of confusion about that. Maybe they don't want to give us the exactness of the details because notice of appeal, the lack of it, and all of that, even away from the legalese, Attorney General, because if we go that direction, then people are going to suffer. How do we assist these government workers? Because they got a salary enhancement. All of a sudden, you have cut it off. So the legalese and so on, and yet they're also saying, as far as the law is concerned, they're on the right path. How do we remedy this situation? Because it is the same government that enhanced the salary. So it cannot be the same government to come and say that maybe we made a mistake. I don't think that does apply. You know, it's resemblant. We had a debate here about the teachers. Science teachers vis-a-vis the arts teachers. Science teachers earn about 4 times more than the arts teachers. And some of us have been saying, we are not saying that now reduce the salary of the science teachers because they deserve a good pay, but increase the salary of the arts teachers too, so that there is equity. So what we want now is for government to rectify something that it had already done right, because they deserve a good pay. And we were happy that government had enhanced their pay. All of a sudden now, government is retracting on that. Why? So that we don't even go through court, back and forth, because you see, even with the court processes, the AG knows this matter can take donkey's years. We are simply appealing to government. Please rectify. You enhanced these people's salaries. That was a good thing. Because they have been to school, you keep saying, the more you study, there should be rewards for education. So they have gone to school, studied this and so on, you enhance their pay, and then you're cutting it back. Why? Let government rectify that, so that we even avoid the whole drama of court, back and forth. That will take donkey's years, AG, you know. Please advise government, because you're the chief government advisor. And chief legal government advisor. Yes, when you make a promise and you fulfill it, don't backtrack on it. Let's get back to what it should be.
And I think the matter that this House has talked about, the Salary Review Commission, should really come in forth. Because we've been talking about that commission over and over, and it has not taken off. Yes, Honorable.
To our questions is not there. That ministry, I'm aware, is having more than 3 ministers. There is nobody to respond to us. We are nearly speaking to ourselves. Right Honorable Speaker, this is the pain that we take sometimes in this house. It is painful. I beg to submit.
Thank you.
Penny and the members who have spoken to this. This matter must be taken seriously. We have seen of recent how policemen have been committing suicide. Others have been robbing the places they are guarding. Others have killed their wife. This could be possibly the reason. Yeah. They even killed the minister. So we shouldn't take these things lightly. But you can't joke with the person who is holding the gun. I think that's where government must come up seriously and solve this. Prime Minister needs to be solved. Thank you.
Deputy Chair Park Central, I want to remind colleagues that the Office of the Auditor General did a very good job on a consolidated payroll on the consolidated report on the payroll. We also have a consolidated report on pension and gratuity. However, the challenge we have is, if you look at the performance of the Treasury Memoranda, all the resolutions and recommendations of Parliament are implemented at 31%. How I wish Cabinet can take interest in the implementation of the Auditor General's report in regard to the consolidated payroll. There are so many issues even beyond what you are looking at, so many in different sectors. So let's not handle this in piecemeal. I do take concern of the police officers, but there are so many things that are messed up. So, Right Honorable Speaker, I kindly request that you give a deadline on when we should handle the consolidated report purely on the payroll and gratuity and pension. Otherwise, people are suffering out there, many of them.
Just remind you, she's a deputy chair.
I also add my voice to the armed officers who are demanding payment, especially those who came back from Somalia between 15th to 25th December. They say they belong to the battalion of the 39th Battalion. I am not good at that, but they communicate to us that way. But Right Honorable Speaker, I pray that we also get a pronouncement on the institutions that were rationalized by Parliament and were not approved by the President, especially the Forest and Tree Planting Act. What is in the community is that all staff that were contracted under NFA were laid off. They were told that the institution was rationalized, but in actual sense it has not been rationalized. It still has its money, and so we need to come out clearly on this and clear the air. If the President has not consented to this, let's come out and inform the public and confirm that the budget of that institution still exists and should do the work that was...
To interrupt my colleague, but the procedure issue I am raising, we have colleagues one by one raising issues of soldiers who are returning from Somalia. We have 10 UPDF officers, 5 of them are here. We are talking about matters of their colleagues who they came to represent, they are quiet. What are they doing here? 5 of them, they came here to represent the army. It is other people talking about the problems of their colleagues. That's the procedure issue I am.
As all the people, irrespective of whether they're in uniform, we are representatives of the people. So even if a member of Parliament raises it, he still speaks to the people outside there.